Art is a very important part of human being. I mean, artistic expression is something we all have in common. After, more or less, you can use it or not. Remember when we are kids at a small school, we all do art. We learn how to sing, we learn how to draw, to dance. It's just something very natural. There are no real limits in musical development for a musician or a songwriter, composer. You can always improve. You don't have this physical limit that maybe dancers can have, or in sport. My father used to be a sportman. And it's true that at the moment there is a physical limit. And I remember once he said, it's difficult sport because at the moment you start to understand, you have to stop because your body is, there is a limit with your body. So with music you don't have this much. You can still progress all the time. So it's true, if I see my past, in my past I can see okay, I progressed, Hopefully I'm gonna progress again. I mean, continue to experiment and to improve new things. Always with pleasure. That I remember about my childhood. I mean, especially about with the connection with music. And when I was a kid, there was all those wedding parties, or whatever, family parties, and everybody had to sing something to express, themselves. And I remember, I think I started to be on stage. I was 2 or 3. I mean, when already a child can sing. But it was just like, what was great is everybody had to do something. And it's true, this idea that everybody performs, I think influenced really much my approach, my love for music and performance in general. And I always this in mind. I don't know. For me, performance is something global. I mean, something collective. And it's always pleasure for me to be on stage and maybe to get this feeling back. I started really to play music when I was in Paris. In Paris, there are large different communities coming from Africa, North Africa and Black Africa. So it was part of my, let's say, musical education. I come from Brittany, so it's a Celtic area of France, so I got this influence in my music. And also, I traveled in Africa and Central America, so also, even since I was a teenager, this music took a part in my inspiration, So basically, this is the 3, let's say, sources makes my music. I like to be concentrated when I perform, when I play music. I think I'm able to really forget about everything. And after that, something is coming just naturally. I don't know with the time. I mean, it's very fluid. I'm lucky with this. I never had problems, you know, with inspiration, like, you know, the white page. I just let things coming. And it comes naturally. From where I won't be able to tell you really. It's always difficult to talk about what the fan think, finally. What is true is after a spectacular or performance, when somebody comes to you, you see immediately, you know, if they like it, if they come, sometimes, you know, okay, some people come, say, yeah, it was nice, oh, no, that was nice. But it's true that it's obvious that when somebody comes in a special way, saying, oh, I really enjoy the performance, it's immediately visible, you can touch it.
Simeon's music is different than any other kind of music you'll hear. It's his own language in many of the songs. I think everybody knows that. But there's a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of English. Every once in a while, if you're lucky, some Polish. Afrikaan is in there. So it's definitely different. When you meet him, you feel like this is like somebody you've never met before. He goes off into his own little world. He's, you know, the hair to me is all part of his character, for sure.
How would I describe his music? It's kind of like jazzy pop, but it's very rockish. It doesn't really fit into a specific category. Some people have suggested they called it world music. It's fun. It's good. It's danceable. It's you know, I don't know, jazzy pop. You know, a lot of improv. Just fun. His music is very exciting. I think one of the things that makes it that way is the fact that he's, you know, toured every continent, and his influences are really from all over.
When you hear an introduction of his songs, you know it's Simeon for every song. So he does have that genre of Latino kind of pop rock. I really world folk. I wouldn't really know how to put it into one category. But his style is a very unique blend of fusion and different African, Colombian, Latino influences. I haven't heard anything else like it. He has a way of building up the lyrics and the melody and driving to a very unpredictable but explosive refrain, and everything just really just unpredictably beautiful. That was one thing that really struck me about his music. Nothing predictable at all, but still gorgeous. La, da, 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 da. La, da, 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 da.
First impression was of a great singer, somebody who was able to lift a bar and maintain their attention, break up conversations and bring the whole focus onto him and his music. What I like most about his music is the way that it draws you in and maintains your focus on it and uplifts. It uplifts. It's transcendental. You're plucked away from your problems. You're plucked away from things you might have been worrying about that day. There's two letters really, T and M. It's described the music for me, because it's impossible to be sad. It's impossible to be too serious when you're listening to the music, and it connects with everybody. It allows people to forget about their troubles and get into the music, and that's the most important thing for those couple of hours that he's there. Transcendental meditation.
He also plays a number of different instruments. He's great at the guitar, he's great at drums. He also plays the piano, finger cymbals, you name it, he can play it. And I like that about him. You just throw something in his hand, you walk in a music store with him and you just let him go.
I like to do that, you know. I play different instruments, so it's true that performing as a one-man band makes that I can play all this with all those tools, you know. I like the expression in music to say to play music. It's really to play. And performing as a one-man band is for me really like to play. I play the drums, I play the guitar, the piano. It's just really like a game. And it's absolutely necessary for me regularly to perform like that. It's just you are alone and just I play with my tools. I like to do that. I try to make it spectacular for people. And I also still want to work as a one-man band. I really need this format sometimes to be with myself. Like I can really improve, you know, new ideas. And I did it twice already to perform alone for a couple of years, let's say. After that, also I feel a bit more fresh to work with a band or a structure. I work with Simon. Simon is very funny because we almost share the same first name, Simeon. And we performed several times as a duo. And I like to have this. Also, we both are French, so it was like a bit of kind of original being abroad, sharing this name. It was like Simon and Simeon. And Simon is also got a very fluid, you know, flow with music.
World Trans System, actually, I actually never knew what that meant. I never know, what does it mean to me? It doesn't mean anything. I mean, you'd have to ask Simeon what that means. I understand world and system, but World Trans System, I don't know. Do you know what it means? I have no idea. I think he probably made a spelling mistake on the word trans or something, but I haven't had the heart to tell him. Of course, he'll hear this now, probably, yeah.
Where the mama said, cadets, walk on the lamp, wouldn't have to change. When Missy lad, cadets, man, more fun. Well, I get out. Well, I said I'm not fun.
So, yes, I used to create here in Krakow a band which is called World Trans System. And it's a band inspired, really, it's made on sense of improvisation in music. Basically, we improvise a lot. And we have, all of us, we used to live in different parts of the world. So it's true that we can experiment different things, you know, with music, and also especially improvised music.
We all just had some kind of special connection, I think. You know, I mean, that's what people say. You know, because we never played the same song. We never played the song, you know, twice in a row the same way. And, you know, and some of our songs would go on for 15 minutes just improvising and taking turns doing solos. And I think people really liked us for that versatility.
I've seen Casey playing the first time in a band, and he's, you know, this guy is a strong man. What amazed me is when I saw him playing on his keyboard, it was so delicate, you know, so light. And immediately, you know, I was, yes, seduced by his sense of music, his touch, you know. We had a few elements performing with us, and but pretty quickly a friend of Casey came, Christoph Bodden, the fantastic upright bass player. Used to be in California, and now back to Poland. And this guy got great sounds of music. I mean, he likes to be on stage. I mean, it's like, I think we share this, you know, he likes to be on stage every day, as much as possible. I love that.
I'm quite fond of the early concerts we had, where we didn't have a following and we would just go into a club, and they would have to close down the club because they would get packed. They'd have to lock the doors sometimes, you know, especially the smaller pubs. Some of my other favorite memories would have been we got to play some very big stages opening up for touring acts, and we ended up, you know, getting more of a reaction than the headliner would get.
We had really the opportunity to play a lot. At the moment, we used to perform almost every day during the month, almost in the same area. That was great for me. That to be able, you know, to perform every day, daily. It's this is really the lux for performance.
Why do I love Simeon? Well, I love Simeon because since basically since the moment I met him, we've been as close as, you know, two friends can be. It wasn't something that developed over time. We have pretty much been inseparable when, you know, since when we first met. Well, when I heard Simeon singing at the Irish Arms for the first time, I was outside in the beer garden having a smoke with the guys, and I remember he was singing In Extremis. And I came, and we all just came running inside because we hadn't heard someone like this at a singer-songwriter night before. We didn't have guys like that. We were trying to promote, you know, the local singer-songwriters to come out and, you know, build up their skills. And this guy was obviously someone who was definitely an established singer-songwriter. And we got to be friends. And we talked, and I told him I loved his music and I'd like to play with him. And then we at the end of the night, we played a set of his music, and I improvised with him, and just kind of clicked. Just kind of the puzzle pieces just kind of fit together like no one else I had played with before. He's probably the only friend I've got who is brutally honest with things about music, in positive and negative, but he's also not shy about showing his affection. And I think in the 21st century, when a grown man can tell another man that he loves him, and you know, and we stay in touch, and we're always talking, and every aspect of our life is usually spoken about either on Facebook or on text, and yeah, he's my best friend, and I think I'm lucky to know a person like him. That's why I love him, and I always will, unless he hooks up with my wife, and then I won't like him too much, but he'll still be a friend.
Before I met Simeon, he was like shoveling sheep shit in Australia, and I took him, right, and I kind of molded him into a singer-songwriter. And it was my idea. Like when I met him, he had hair like mine, okay? He had hair just like this. But then because of my influence, he grew his hair out. And that is what I have contributed.
to the world.
I got a great surprise. You don't expect it at all.
A CD?
Look at that.
Holy shit, I've never seen one of those.
And you know what? It's just brand new. It's just today. This is the first one. He showed the first CD of Production System. It's the first of this one. You play on it. There are some tunes
Back
from
to the Jungle. This is Simeon and Casey Crosby and Axl Rose singing, "Welcome to the jungle. It's not fun games. You got everything you want," but I don't know the rest of the words, but you understand what I'm saying, you know? You see what I'm saying? This is only in Simeon's mind can you have a coconut on top of a drum, and that equals sex. Drum, coconut, sex. Jungle, I don't know what the fuck that means, but it means sex, for sure. Sex. Makes me want to have sex with you, and I don't usually want to have sex with men. He's got that on film. Can you?
Because it's very
I'm open to new experience.
tonight. No, it's very hot.
I just came from church, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, another camera here. Oh yeah, shit. My God. By the world of media. Oh, wonderful lady.
We got a
here.
coconut
My God, you know.
on a drum, and we know what that means. When you got a coconut on a drum, that means love. It means l'amour. We didn't get to play l'amour tonight because the government shut us down. But if we had done l'amour, our first hit song, our second song on the radio, I wouldn't be standing here next to a man with an afro. I'd be standing next to a couple of babes. And that's how life is. It's about men with afros and women with no afros.
Krakow is a surprise in my life. It's something I absolutely didn't plan. My grandfather was Polish, but he left the country. He was like 12, so he was really young man. So I've been to Krakow with my family. I was a kid. I mean, on the same age, 12 or 13. I remember visiting Auschwitz, what was a shock, of course. But after that, I don't know. I thought, it would be nice to go to Eastern Europe, and I didn't calculate much. I said, I think I found a bus ticket, to go to Krakow. And it was honestly like a coincidence. I didn't plan it so much. And finally, I arrived here. I wanted to change, to experiment something new, and I started to try to get some work here and to present myself here. And I had an opportunity to stay a bit, and finally I stayed in Krakow. For me, the city is a bit special in Poland. It's different than Warsaw, Wrocław, or etc. Poznan. It's very specific, very cosmopolitan. It's true after all those years of communism, there was a very important revival, of the city, of the country. But basically, the city, for me, the city is a bit special. But Krakow is on a big city on a human size. Krakow and Poland in general, this period still got a large part of freedom. It's maybe surprising, but I don't know, maybe it's after all those years where everything was sucked and heavy, difficult, sad. Maybe there is this energy you can feel. Market Square used to be one of the biggest in Europe. You have almost every day some activities, performances, new stages sometimes. There is no limit. It's like a big circus carnival every day in Krakow. After living in some other European capitals, Krakow is different because Krakow used to be an important European capital. It was the capital of Poland. And this environment made that I stayed there and I created this band, the World Trans System. The other thing is that the city is very well connected with the countryside, in fact, especially with bicycle. I've never been to Amsterdam. I like to ride bicycle a lot. Here the city is pretty flat, so it's easy to ride. But the main thing that very quickly you can go out of the city. You can follow the river, and after 10 minutes you are really deeply in the countryside. Ah yes, this little road to Tegnitz. It's I first took it, now it's organized. It's organized for riders during the weekend, so there are a lot of people who go there. Initially, there was not too much people going there. It's really nice. You follow the river, you can see some castles, or convents on the hill next to the Wisła River, and so you are very. It's great. It's very quickly you are out of the city center and all the activity of the town. And you can hear the birds, you can swim. I mean, you are, I feel like Beethoven in the countryside, close to Krakow. Sorire fare bagno menamine, ora si da bagno resterà mamaro. Here we are, back to the jungle. La pura vida. The ground, the green, the water, animals, la naturaleza et le soleil qui brille. Let's go back to the jungle. Let's go back to the jungle. Eva. Yes, I'm okay. Come un niño messo a me, con le fe la mano solo, con le fine belli che da. Crispinoff is a little lake. It's maybe, 15 kilometers far from the city. And we go to Crispinoff, we run and we go through the wood, on the top of the hill, close to the zoo. Then we run through the different fields, and we run and can talk a bit sometimes. I appreciate the nature, the landscapes. And so we arrive to Crispinoff, it's a little lake. We stop, can swim, have a good beer and a sausage after that. Have fun, and we go back with the bus. And it's a great trip, something simple. I really love this. Running in the nature, you just get back some very primitive sensations, some feelings. And so what is great is that we are leaving, the town, and then we go through the woods. And especially today was beautiful because I think it's beginning of summer right now. So the colors were absolutely amazing, also the flavor. So what is great when you are running is that you run, you feel a bit like an animal. I felt a bit like a zebra today. Let's go back to the jungle. It's also why I like to run. For the body, of course, to feel good, like right now, having a good beer, but also for the mind. I think sport is good for the mind as much as for the body. And also, it's like today we have a very good time with Patrice. It's a very precious moment to share with friends.
I met Simeon was a few years ago in a funny place in Krakow in the evening, and I really enjoy his music, the spirit of music. you feel something who first come into you, and after you start to dance, you have the rhythm in your body. So I really very feel it. It's a calm, good atmosphere, and after it becomes hot and hotter. For me, it's a very good music. So first, I went in a few concerts, and we started to discuss with Simeon and his friends, and we share the same passion about runnings, about cycling as well. And for running, it's a very good place in Krakow, in south part of Krakow. So as Simeon said, we can have a very funny run through the nature, the forest, the flowers, the wheat fields as well, and it's a very funny sensation. When you want to escape from the crowded town, you go just 13 kilometers, and after you feel very well. You can have a bath in the crispy new flakes. For me, it's a part of paradise of Krakow's earth.
Where's the public? We're going to see what's going on in town. We're in Krakow, Saturday night. I hear some nice music here. There is something really exceptional in Krakow, it's the nightlife. Because compared to some other cities in Europe, you have no deadline at night for the places to close. They don't have to close at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. Still, the last customers are here. So it's true that it gives a big breath of freedom for everybody who's here, who come from abroad, tourists, you know, students, foreigners, whatever. You got this free space at night. So now you can see there are some other things going on around here. Maybe some live music. Several clubs in town. Let's have a look. Lots of people. I mean, it's almost like this every day, you know, from Saturday till Sunday, no break. Even during in the morning, it's also very crowded. It's Florence Street. Well, look at that. Till midnight, flowers for the girls. Maybe I'll be lucky tonight. This place used to be one of the biggest market square in Europe. I think on the 16th or 17th century, I mean, from the Middle Age. It's a very old market square. And one very dynamic spot in Europe for people, for culture, but also for people to go out. There is no limit for the pubs to close. You can stay in town all night long till 5, 6, 7, whatever. There is no end. I think it's a big difference with other countries in Europe, like Germany, France, Holland, Ireland, anywhere. So maybe let's go outside and see what we can do, maybe on the dance.
Keeping on my mom and on me. Keeping on, will I say? Keeping on, madam, listen down.
This is really Krakow.
Keeping on, my work come down.
Hey ladies, just for the, would you like to say something for the camera now? Not tonight, okay? Tomorrow.
ce coup. Ok, maman, ce qu'on en peut dire. Ce qui veut donc monter pour l'âme se dit.
This guy rock. Bravo, bravo. I'm gonna play here tonight. You know what? I forgot something. Ladies and gentlemen, panie i panowie, meine Damen und Herren, tonight at Doty Club, fantastico, fantastica! Que viva la música, señores y señoritas, vamos!
Let's make love under the rain. Together all night long. Let's make love under the rain. Together all night long.
For a couple of years, he was playing everywhere. I used to joke he was, the hardest working musician in Krakow, because you could pretty much see him like 3-4 nights a week at different places. And I've always liked to go to his shows. Like his music is different enough that you can see him a couple of times a week and not really hear the same songs twice. And, have just enjoy the atmosphere.
The best concert I've ever been to was in Doty, where Simeon played a great gig. Everybody in the house was dancing, having great fun. It was joyful, transcendental, and he was full of surprises, songs I'd never heard before, new songs, variations on old songs. It was just a tour de force of invention and fun and conviviality, and it was one of the best nights ever.
My favorite concerts that I've experienced for Simeon have been right here in his flat. A lot of times we'll come back after he gets done playing someplace, or even dropping over on a Thursday afternoon. I always have at least one, if not two, guitars, and I'll throw one into his hand and say, show me how you play this, and then just to get him going on the guitar. And then he goes into something that's new that I want you to listen to this one, and it's just fabulous. So here for sure have been some of my favorite concerts.
Let's make love
you like my Bermuda? Oh, you know, I like very much to have parties with my friends. So to spend a bit of time to cook and or to organize barbecue in the garden like today. It's really something I like. It's a good time for fun, just to relax, also to talk, to exchange also about some serious things sometimes.
Never sing with your mouth full. Is that what you say?
But basically just to feel these guys, you know, my friends all together.
No, I was just calling and say, hey,
Yeah, I love that.
let's do
But
Friday.
it's good finally that you.
Yeah.
It's true, it's great. So let's have a toast, yeah, for I don't know, for the beauty of the world. I don't know.
Yes, for the
Friendship.
beauty of the world.
Friendship. Friendship. Yeah, here we are. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers, girl.
Cheers.
Cheers. I have to say I'm happy. Often. It seems to better to say that, or better not to say to be happy. Better to hide it. I'm not sure if I'm able to hide it. Basically, I'm often happy.
I suppose the best memories, also maybe the worst, was when he was recording his album in London, and he came to visit me in Ireland just after somebody very close to me passed away. And he came and met my mother, met all of my friends, even at this dark time. Still, his ability to, you know, make people feel good about themselves was there, and his curiosity about small, insignificant places that I'd grown up in. And there was this great singer, my favourite singer, with me, you know, travelling around where I had grown up as a kid, and his curiosity about that, his interest in everything that was around him there was fantastic. I value his friendship, and his music is a great thing, and lifts up my life.
Obviously, he has a whole list of songs. Lenoir is not my favorite. I know it is for many people, but it's usually his the off-key ones. Let's say the B-sides of some of his albums that I like a lot. Uzbekistan is something he'll play on piano if you're lucky, and to listen to this is just, to me, the best 15 minutes you can spend on a Sunday afternoon, nice glass of wine, Simeon on piano, when he's in the mood for sure, and he's always in the mood.
My favourite song is the great, rousing ballad. I don't know if it's a ballad or not, but one of the greatest songs ever is, of course, Saint-Malo. Ah, moi je vais à Saint-Malo, le temps se passe, le temps se passe. This is easily, but the other great songs, you know, but this is the one I remember most. Finish gigs where you're there at that moment by the seaside in Saint-Malo, passing the time and meeting with friends.
C'est vrai, faut dire qu'elle a du corps. Sa poitrine a redonné bonne mine à tous les affreux de Solidor. Et moi je vais à Saint-Malo, là j'y vais comme un seul. Et moi je vais à Saint-Malo, et le temps passe à Saint-Malo. Le grand Steph nous met la musique à fond. Dans son bar, les péchons de la gouaille. C'est peut-être que là-bas, on va salon. Les crétins peuvent finir à la baille. Sur le sillon, c'est la Java. Les touristes feraient là ou là. Si la tourmaine dans le fond faisait sauter tous ces canons. Et moi je vais à Saint-Malo. Oui, là je vais comme un seul. Et moi je vais à Saint-Malo. Et le temps passe à Saint-Malo. À Saint-Malo. À Saint-Malo. À Saint-Malo.
one thing I like, it's to arrive in a place I don't know, a new city, new town, new village, whatever. You come at night, you arrive at night, even for the day after you have to perform, the day after. And just you know, it's like you arrive in the middle of nowhere and you know anybody, and you have to do something. And I like this, and I like to have this feeling to go somewhere, and it's not like that you have a message to say. No, it's just more that, okay, you come for something, you have to give something to people, and then you're gonna go somewhere else. I like this feeling, being on the road, and show must go on.
Life, giving on my mom and on me. Giving on what I say. Giving on my mom and I'm listening down. Life, giving on my work I'm down.
Today I fly to Paris. We had a few drinks last night. I feel a bit, so, comme ci, comme ça. Drank a bit of vodka, I have to say. And we finished at 6 p.m. a.m., 6 in the morning. I'm still in the party, my God. Fortunately, I don't have to run this morning. I think I will sleep well in the plane. We are now on the road to the airport, Balitsa. And, the airport is called Jan Pavel II, John Paul II. Of course, the Pope, Polish Pope, who was Archbishop of Krakow. And it's funny because I'm dressed with the color of the Vatican, yellow and white. So two colors of the Vatican. Maybe I will become a pope. Who knows? Traveling is nice. Being on stage is even better. I like to perform. I love my job. I love music. So I think the best thing for me is to be ready to go on stage and to sing like a bird.
Whoa!